How are we doing, you beautiful people? Khan's here, bringing you episode 23 of Rise of the Holy Nation. At the end of last episode, we had a crash, which means we lost all of the progress from that recording. So I've had to go back and then try to get us as close to that point as possible. Turns out that was super challenging and took a lot longer than I thought it would. But this is the closest attempt so far. We're pretty much in the same situation. Only difference is GNU has been kidnapped, and that's it. That's the only difference, is GNU is out of the fight at the moment to the High Lord Phoenix to drop Esther off. So we now have the Seal, the Chalice, and the squads will follow us if we go and ask them to join us. So on the way back, if we find any squads, we're going to pick them up so they can help us secure Squinn before we have to move on to extra places. Only other change is Midnight is in the town. Last time Midnight was out, but Midnight seemed to be quite happily just chilling in there, so I didn't want to ruin his fun. The rest of the squad has been captured, so what we're going to do, everyone that can is going to pick their locks at the moment, and if they can't pick the lock, we'll get someone else to pick it for them. The idea with this is once everyone is in the situation where they can break out at the same time, once Peter and GNU and Dexter are around causing damage, we're going to do a massive prison bust, all run out and hopefully be able to take out the last of the Shek. We managed to get most of the weapons back, so once the guys are out, they are going to be able to re-equip their weapons and then start causing some absolute havoc on the last of the Shek. Squinn is pretty much just a graveyard now. There aren't that many Shek left, thankfully, but then there aren't many of us. The only person that's really free and able to cause any damage would be Peter, but Peter's a long way away. But on the way back, we are going to be looking for a squad. If we can find that squad, we can bring a decent amount of reinforcements with us, and then we are going to be able to overrun Squinn nice and easy. In the meantime, we're just going to get everyone in a situation where they can bust out of jail when the time comes, and then we should just be able to wipe out the Shek. Dexter is doing what he can, and most of the Shek we have knocked down at one point or another and stolen their medikits off. So with his high bleed damage, a lot of these Shek are not going to be getting back up for quite a while, which is going to put us in a pretty sweet situation. Peter is now down at the hub, and this place is a ghost town. There is virtually nobody left. I don't actually think there is anyone left at the moment. I can't see anyone. So it looks like we managed to wipe out the hub quite nicely. There is a Holy Nation outlaw Undertaker still alive, and we haven't checked the bar yet, so we might need to kill him off and then wipe out the bar for the world state to change, so then the hub will change hands. I'm not sure who the hub will go to, but hopefully it goes towards the Holy Nation, because that'd be quite fun, because then we have a little staging ground within Shek territory to carry out the rest of our attacks. We are after a new recruit. This is going to be Zip. Zip is a Holy Nation caravan guard who was fighting in the Sentinel Wars, who uses a polearm, moved towards the borderlands for a easier life. Unfortunately, that is not going to go well for him, because he is joining the Adventurer squad, so first thing he's going to be doing is fighting a whole bunch of super overpowered Shek, and then helping us take down the United Cities, which should be a decent bit of fun. And like all good Kenshi stories, it is time for a bit of baptism by fire. We're going to take out the trade ninjas and the ninja guards and all of the dirty narcos and basically anyone that we do not like. This is going to help Zip get some stats up pretty quick, because of the guys that he's fighting are pretty powerful. So worst case scenario, his toughness goes up and his melee attack and defense goes up, which will be decent enough start for him. And then we can just carry him down to Squinn when he regains some consciousness. Hopefully he can hit like an Invincible or 100 Guardian a couple times, get a bunch more XP, and that'll be pretty good for him, because then, you know, he's a bit more powerful than he was when he started, because Kenshi recruits don't have the best stats, and we need to get him up to speed super quickly, because we are right at the end game. Now that the Shek are done, all we need to do is just take Squinn, then the Shek territory is ours, only leaving the Fotsum ninjas and the United Cities left. And ideally we'd like him to be in a situation where he is able to hold his own in the battle line. Peter will take out the last of the narcos in the hub, then he's going to pick Zip up and head down to Squinn. Looks like Dexter's been on a little adventure. The front gate is now pretty much secure, so that is ours. It all just comes down to Dexter just liking to nom on the Shek's faces. Peter's not far off, so once Peter comes back, he'll be able to come straight through the front gate, or we'll use him to go and hunt down the captors of GNU. So we'll have Dexter, Peter and GNU all in a decent fighting situation, and then the rest of this town is going to fall in no time. The guys that have been in jail have had time to heal up and rest up, so they are going to be in a okay situation to pick a fight. They're not going to be great, for the simple fact they've taken a kick and then they're humans and they heal real slow. So yeah, we're looking good. We got Peter, we got Dexter, and we have GNU. Didn't look like Peter was interested in waiting for the rest of them. He literally just ran down the track, ran through the front gate, and just found the biggest group of Shek he could and just piled in. So yeah, that worked pretty well for us. We're going to let everyone else escape now. Those that can will, those that can't, we will just move GNU or Peter across to pick their locks. Not a massive issue. And then Peter and GNU both have a bunch of weapons, so we can run our guys across to them, re-equip their weapons, and then carry on with the fight. So we're looking like we're in a good situation. We've nearly got our full force going on against what is the ragtag remnants of the Shek. There aren't too many of them in a group together, so we don't need to worry about that. There is 5 on the far gate, but we don't need to worry about them. They're not going to be aggroing in anytime soon. There is about 10 invincibles left who will put up one serious fight, but if we can take them piecemeal, so little by little, and then take them down, so if we can bring more numbers against them than they can against us, their invincibles will fall. And each time an invincible falls, all we need to do is strip them of their equipment, and all of a sudden they are not very dangerous anymore. There are 100 guardians kicking about, but they're 100 guardians. They're not super great. One of our guys can take 100 guardian at the moment, and most of them have taken a pretty decent kicking so far, making them not as dangerous as they would be fresh. And we have just got to sort out our kit and hand it out to everyone that needs it. Almost everyone is out of jail and is now equipped, but we went into the army to have another look, see if the stock restocked, I guess, for lack of a better term, and it did. And there was a great sword in there. Going to be absolutely useless. None of our guys are going to be strong enough or dexterous enough to swing it about, but I think it could just be a funny weapon. So we're going to keep hold of it for now, and maybe we can put it on someone later on. Starting to look like things are going our way now. We have pretty much the whole town secure, so the street and the front gate is ours. The back gate is still controlled by the Shek, and they have a whole bunch of invincibles in the faction HQ, which is where we are going to be going next. 2 of our guys are in there in jail. They don't quite have the skills to pick themselves out at the moment, but that is not an issue. We're going to go in, try to bait out the invincibles and the last of the 100 guardians, try to fight them outside, which normally is a really bad idea, but if we can bring more numbers against them so there's less of them, hopefully we can utilise the 5 attack slots and then take down the invincibles that way. These invincibles are tough cookies and not something to underestimate. We made that mistake a couple episodes ago and we paid the price for it. What should have been a pretty quick battle, we should have just been in and out, get Esther, and then Squinn should have fallen. That didn't happen. These invincibles are tough, I underestimated them, and as a result we have been tar pitted in Squinn for quite a while this time round. So the plan with the invincibles is easy. You fight them multiple in one. Because they're using heavy weapons, they don't attack particularly quick. When they do get an attack off, they cause a lot of damage and have a very large cleave on them. So we take their weapons, we drop them on the floor. If they don't have weapons, they're not very good in martial arts, and then we strip their armor across into their inventory, so then they can't use it. We leave them with the leg plates on, which messes up their martial arts and athletics even more, and also adds other debuffs to them. They can't cause as much damage, they won't be as good at fighting, and they're not super mobile, thankfully. That is the plan with how to deal with them. We are starting to drop characters. Characters are going down. Thankfully, GNU and Peter will stay in this fight for quite a while. Dexter has had a whole bunch of time to heal himself up, so he is looking pretty fresh for the fight, so we don't need to worry. And then every chance we get is going to be about taking armor and weapons off them. It would seem that the plan worked. We've managed to get most of the invincibles either by themselves or we've managed to outnumber them in any of the fights. So we have got 4 down already. Considering there's only meant to be 5 invincibles, I think that's a bit of a lie, because there is definitely more than 5 of them right now. But seemingly we are doing pretty well. We're taking them down bit by bit. A lot of the time we're able to get 2 on 1, sometimes 3 on 1. Dexter has done a crazy good job against Invincibles. Sometimes if Dexter can get the first attack off and stun them, he can get the next attack on before they recover, which stuns them again. So Dexter has the ability to chain lock one of the Invincibles. So our little doggo can take down one of the toughest NPCs in the game just by nipping at them for quite a while, which works real good for us. We have been going around and taking the equipment off the Invincibles as they have gone down. I've done a bunch of that off screen so that you guys don't need to see me rinse and repeat the same cheeseball strategy. But then again, the Shek are using that against us, so I think it is only fair that we do it against them. The faction HQ has been secured. We've still got 2 people in jail in there. We will be coming to free them shortly. We just want to take the last of the Shek down that are in the town. These are lower end Shek, but what they have a tendency to do is go around and heal people up, which is something that is super annoying because we spent all this time taking down the Invincibles and the 100 Guardians, and then all that happens is someone runs in, heals them, and then when we're not paying attention, Invincibles jump back in bed, and they're back on full health in a very short amount of time. This way we are going to stay ahead of that, and as soon as we can build the advantage, we'll keep the advantage, and it is just going to be a slow grinding defeat against a Shek. It would appear that Zip got captured at some point, but then again he has no armour, his stats are pretty much all below 10. We'll free him now so he can join in, not expecting miracles from him, but I think a little bit of fighting will do him some good. Just got the last dregs of the Shek kicking about. They're not putting up much of a fight anymore, thankfully. They do have a few Invincibles that we missed, but yet again we're going around, we're taking their equipment off them, so every time we find a new one, they pose less and less of a threat each time they come back up. We do have some skellies coming in. I would like to leave the processor units alone because they will go off and kill any of the Shek that are left on the ground, but unfortunately Holy Nation dictates that we have to kill all of the skellies that we can. So we're going to fight the process units, the skeleton Zoltans, and just any Shek that are stupid enough to realise that they are already dead if they get up. Time to wipe out the last of the Shek. They got their 500 Guardians protecting the second gate, the one that we didn't come through. We will be able to go in, wipe that out nice and quick, and then that is the Shek done. Once we've killed these guys, I think it is safe to say that we have pretty much destroyed Squinn. Well, we destroyed Squinn as soon as we got Esther, but not the point. We want to kill off the Shek, prove a point, and what this is going to do, once we leave this area and come back, Squinn will be in someone else's control. Whose control it's going to be in, I am not too sure. It could go to the United Cities because it is towards the south of the map and they have a bunch of towns in that area. It could go to the Holy Nation because the Holy Nation does once wipe out the Shek. Or it could end up going to someone like the Cole's Chosen. If it goes to the Cole's Chosen, we will come back and we'll wipe them out and kill the Cole's Chosen, funnily enough. If it goes to United Cities, we will leave it be. That is not a big deal for the simple fact that we are going to be going after the United Cities and we're just going to try to chop the head off the snake as soon as we can. We know where the Emperor Tengo is going to be, so we will go through the Black Desert. We will come up from the south, we'll swing past Heng and then hit Heft with full force and be able to wipe the United Cities out in one swift attack. If we go up through Oakland Shield, we're going to be fighting through their territory for a long time, and that is going to be a very long battle. It's better to take the risk of going across the Black Desert. Despite all the acid and the nasty spiders and all of the skeletons and that, I think it is going to be our best strategy. So that will be the United Cities taken out, but before we do that, we are going to hunt down the Flotsam Ninjas because the High Lord Phoenix did ask us to do that. I'm not expecting that to be a particularly difficult fight, but I am interested to see what the Flotsam Ninjas are going to be rocking, especially in the Age of Blood and Sand. Unfortunately, the Traders Guild has shown up and they do have a bunch of dirty Narkos with them, so we're going to have to go in and kill them. It's not particularly unfortunate. I enjoy killing the Traders Guild. There is just something about that faction, you never feel bad for wiping them out or attacking them when you see them. And 90% of the time, if you start in United Cities territory, you end up fighting them anyway. So, details. We're not in United Cities territory, but it's going to be a decent little bit of practice for us. They're not super tough, they're not super well equipped, but they do have decent enough stats for it still to be worth the while of our guys training against them. And I mean, they might hit us in the legs a couple times, a few of our guys might move a little bit slower, but that is not a massive loss because toughness will go up, melee attack, melee defense, weapon skills, all of that fun stuff. And with the last of these done, we are going to be pretty clear to disengage. We nearly missed this Shek. So this is the Medicore trainer, and it literally says on the mod list, do not fight them. So I think that sounds like a challenge. So we're going to go take him down. Looks like she has a Meitu blade, which is a weapon that the Shek should not have, and it does a fair amount of damage. Doesn't have crazy good stats, went down fairly quick, but that Meitu weapon seems fairly dangerous. And yeah, that is broken. That is so broken. Like plus 100% to attack and then plus 200 to attack and then 3.3 attack. Yeah, that is a serious weapon. The rest of the kit, yeah, we're not really going to use. So we'll leave that be. Unfortunately, you can't wear their armour, which is a bit of a shame, but we'll take that Meitu weapon, and then we have one person left in jail, we'll spring them, and then we will get onto the road. The adventurer squad is moving super slowly, so I figured we'd break GNU and Peter off just so we can go in and wipe out the last of the hub. I was kind of hoping it would have reset and changed hands, but it hasn't. So we're going in and we're going to go kill a bunch more things just because we can. And there is another medical trainer around here, so this should give us another one of those really nice Mei2 weapons. I'm not sure if it's just one off on them or if each of them has a different Mei2 blade. So we're sending Peter and GNU in both against this guy. Now we are doing sweet all damage. It looks like that medical trader is a juggernaut as well. So super tough, insane regen, very good stats, and that armor that they look like they're wearing is mental. Yeah, again, it's a shame we're not going to be able to wear the armor because for whatever reason you can't. Finally took him down, and he is a tough cookie if I've seen one in Kenshi. That's probably the most dangerous and most powerful NPC we've come across. And his armor is insane. That's like 90% protection, 100% pretty much everywhere. Yeah, again, 90%, 90%. Pretty much full coverage of all body parts. Yeah, that is insane kit. That is completely and utterly broken. I see why you're told not to fight them, and then their sword is really good as well, that Mei2 weapon. We will take that armor. I am curious if we are going to be able to use it, so I'm not going to leave it there so it despawns. So we'll take it with us. Maybe we can use it, put it on a special ops unit or something. Have a little play around. Is it going to work? I doubt it, but it's not something I want to leave laying around until I know that we can't use it. We have stripped all of the kit, all of the armor, so it is now time to head back to base. At base we have been making the mercenary shoes, so we are going to have some really nice leg armor waiting for us as soon as we get back to the base. Here is Zip, our newest recruit, fully geared up and ready for war. He also has a discount Mei2 polearm. He also has the Mei2 longsword, so he's going to be in a situation to be able to wreck havoc real soon. Talking about havoc, we are geared up and heading up to the Fort Sam Ninjas now. We have more food, we have weapons replaced, we have new armor, and we are going to go in and absolutely wreck those heretics. In the meantime, I think we might have figured out how to fix the turrets. So the turrets have an issue hitting this front gate here. So if we just expand the amount of gates that we have, first it's going to slow down anyone attacking us. These gates are going to be better than the gate that we got in at the moment, but it also gives more angles for the turrets to shoot down on. So I think we'll have a 3-tier defensive setup. So they get through the first gate, they'll get trapped on the second, which we know some of the turrets can shoot on, not many, but a few. And then we'll have the third gate at the back, which hopefully more turrets can shoot on as well. And we are just going to have an absolute kill zone. Worst case scenario, it will buy us enough time to hopefully pull our adventurer squad back, or maybe a couple of them. But as here, I will need to bring the episode to the end. Sorry I haven't been able to upload recently. Things have been a little bit hectic. So once again, I say thank you very much for all your likes, comments, sub support. You guys are amazing, and I'll try to get back on to getting as many videos out as I can. I look forward to catching you on the next one.